Who are the best free-to-play units to prioritize for your teams? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. Every once in a while, Dokkan Battle releases a free-to-play card that defies all expectations, and the 10-year anniversary is no different. So, in this video, we're going to take a look at who I believe are the top 10 free-to-play characters that you should be prioritizing for your teams. Now, this is a little different than our typical top 10s where we look at power, consistency, and versatility. Instead, what we're looking for here is how useful these free-to-play characters are to you as a Dokkan Battle player. Whether you are a veteran or a brand new player, how useful are these characters to you? Because let's be honest, these are not characters that you're looking to slot into meta teams to be taken on and competing with the likes of the top 10 LRs and TURs. What we're looking at here is how can these characters slot into teams to help you complete missions or help you just do the various things you need to do to build your account as a new player, or just complete the monotony of things that you have to do throughout the week and monthly celebrations. So let's start with the very first unit on our list, and that is the number 10 unit you should prioritize, as this is especially for new players. This is the Tech Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku. This guy is probably one of the best choices for new players, and he is the easiest to grind out. This Super Saiyan 3 Goku is obtainable through the Dokkan Battle tutorial event, where you just basically proceed through and you get a bunch of free copies of this guy as you play through the event multiple times. And then, of course, he has recently gotten an easy A just this past year. Now, he isn't the greatest, but his function to slot into many different teams as a free-to-play character is very helpful to many brand new players to Dokkan Battle. So we're definitely going to put him on there because I think as a new player, he's probably one of the more useful cards. He will give you access to a powerful TUR that will help you clear a lot of different events in Dokkan Battle. Now, up next, we actually have a group of characters that I think are very useful for players to have, and that is, of course, the free-to-play Metal Cooler Squad. Now, I am looking at these guys as a new player perspective specifically, and that is why I'm putting these guys at number 10. Each character in this has a different function, right? Each one serves to support the other in whatever way that they can, whether it's through supporting attack, through supporting offense, through providing a slot 1, through providing orb changing, through providing some type of dodge, right? They all have things that work in tandem to each other, and they work really well with the where is he here? The LR Battlefield Cooler. I just had him here. They work really well for him, but the reason I don't put them here, or I don't want to put them any higher as useful to a new player, is one, their events don't come back very often, and two, they are a tad bit reliant on the actual Fizz Metal Cooler and that Int Battlefield Metal Cooler army. Without those two characters, the team, it's not as useful, other than just filling out maybe a quick quest mode, or not quest mode, Dokkan event stage, right? That's always helpful as a new player, having a team that can do that. But so that's why I don't really want to recommend them any higher than that. But once you do get them set up, they are great for helping you clear the early stages of the battlefield. But of course, you need those memories to get their main leader. So that's why I can't really recommend them higher than that. At number 8, the next useful unit we have is, of course, the Fizz Ginyu Force. Now, I am only putting him at number 8, slightly higher than the Cooler Army, because the Cooler Army, they are required for the Cooler. They need that Int Cooler Army to work. This guy, you just really need to buy your 1 or 2 copies of this guy. This guy is useful because of his leader skill. He has an all types leader skill. If we can pull him up here, he has an all types leader skill, which is very, very useful for many different players. And if you can take the time to grind out the battlefield points, I know as a new player that's a bit difficult, but having this all types leader skill allows him, 1, to slot in as a great filler leader for battlefield, slot in as a great filler leader for Dokkan events if you're a newer player, combined with the Ginyu Force team, who we'll get to in a second. Provide all of that for your teams. He's also great, right, if you're an avid link leveler, as just a random, lead to throw in there to keep your link, especially now with some of these link level stages being a tad bit more difficult than they normally are. Having that 120% all types lead is very, very helpful. It's also helpful for World Tournament. In fact, they are one of the better leads to use on the World Tournament, especially if you're prioritizing utilizing certain setups in order to get the best score, because some of the better setups kind of require units from various different categories that don't necessarily all fit under one leader skill. So having the Ginyu Force fit as a 120 lead to cover them allows you to make the best of that for World Tournament. So they make the list at number 8 because of their usefulness in what they provide as a free-to-play leader. Up next, to go along with that guy, is of course the team that goes with him. Now, this team can operate independently of this guy. They don't need him. In fact, right, they can even be run under the Dokkan Fest variant of the Ginyu, but that is of course our free-to-play Ginyu squad. So let's find these guys here. They're hiding somewhere. There's the Bardock squad. Where is the Ginyu squad? There they are. All right, so these guys make it in at number 7 as useful to you, mainly for their ability to build a coherent team. See, back before version Z, the Ginyu squad was exactly what you needed to get started in the game, right? Before this new Dokkan that we have now, Dokkan 2 version Z, prior to that, you had these units here that were basically acting as tutorial units. The game didn't outright tell you how to grind them out, but once you did, you began to realize how they function in team building, right? How the teams are supposed to function. Each member of the Ginyu squad provides a different role, much to the Metal Cooler army here, but it's a lot more pronounced, right? You have things like Bardock, who can act as your pseudo slot 1 with a dodge, as well as a nuking style passive. You have Goldo, who acts as your stunner and sealer. You have two great you have a slot 1 tank that needs time to build up, but once he does, right, for the events that you would be using him in, he does work well for that. And then of course you're a good slot 2 tank in the Int Ginyu, and then of course you have a floating unit that provides a scouter, all of which is useful. And then of course you have the lead here, who not only provides a great lead for them, he also supports them both on his super attack effect and through his passive, as well as each one supporting each other. You combine that with the Dokkan Fest if you ever manage to pull them, or you run them as a friend, and it makes for a great free-to-play team. These guys are excellent for helping to fill out teams needed to complete Battlefield, teams needed to complete Dokkan events in your early days if you are a newer player, so that's why they make it out at number 7. They still have a lot of use, especially for players who are trying to complete, those daily things. Which of course brings us to our next free-to-play team, and that is the free-to-play Bardock squad. I really want to put these guys higher because the LR Bardock actually just recently EZA'd not too long ago, within the past year. The only issue is he did so far after the rest of his team that the rest of his team doesn't really keep up with what he's doing. He is far and away better than the rest of the team, but the team still functions in the same manner as the Ginyu squad, serving their role to help fill teams for things like Battlefield Ultimate Clash, helping to clear early Dokkan events, and again, just like the Ginyu Force, each member of the team serves a role in teaching you how team building functions within the game, as well as teaching you the type wheel. All of these things make these guys great free-to-play units, or teams rather, to help you in your path to building up your account in Dokkan Battle. So now we get into the real meat and potatoes of this, right? These are the basic units that every player should have as they begin their journey in Dokkan Battle. These are some of the best units you can pull. They aren't the best units, they aren't specifically the best of the best, but they are the best in terms of being the most useful to you as a player. So as we move forward here, we're going to be having a lot more units that these units are kind of, they are units that are good enough to slide into current meta teams, right? I mean, provided you're using items, they can actually help you clear certain events. And that starts, of course, with the Tech Bio Broly coming in here at number 5. This guy is actually quite good for a free-to-play unit, and if you have the uncontrollable power team, he works very, very well. You combine him with the LR Bio Broly, who is sliding here in at number 4 for the same exact reasons. They have an insane amount of damage reduction that makes him nearly indestructible. The Tech Bio Broly begins with the higher damage reduction, and then of course the LR Prime Battle Bio Broly builds up his damage reduction with every turn, and then of course giving you a free target skill once you get to turn 7. Then of course after that he begins losing his damage reductions, but of course you're probably winning the fight by that point. So he makes it in at number 4 following his Tech counterpart. They're both incredibly good free-to-play units. Coming in at number 3 in terms of useful free-to-play units, we have the Tech Paragus. This guy, again, also if you have the Int and Tech Broly, if you've managed to pull them, they are actually incredibly useful. Most events in today's meta can be, especially things like battle hardened formidable foes, right? If you're willing to use items, right, the bosses can be attack lowered, the bosses can be stunned, they can be defense lowered, they can be sealed. Paragus does all of that, right? And provided you have a Broly on the team, he's doing it even better, as well as getting some pretty decent defensive numbers for a free-to-play unit, allowing him to slide safely into the 3rd slot on those teams. He's actually very, very, very good for those teams, right? If we actually just pull him up here under, I think we can pull him up under uncontrollable power, and then we go to LR Broly, and then we pop into his 2nd class, which is Revenge. And then I believe he's on Revenge. Oh. Yep, there he is. Okay, so like if we just take a look here, we kind of see what I'm talking about, right? As long as you have that Broly on the team, right? Not only is he giving 25% support, he's also launching additional attacks. He's sealing. He's getting a greatly raise. He's also giving an additional 25% to Broly's, right, who are on the turn. So that means he's giving 50% support to Broly's, as well as having a 70% chance to evade in the third slot. So he's actually really good on the Broly team. So very useful in that regard for filling out Broly's in Broly's team specifically, because he is on that team. And then coming in at number 2 is actually 2 free-to-play units. They're 2 very recent free-to-play units as well. And that is the Fizz Kid Trunks here. This guy is actually incredibly good. He is the new free-to-play unit that is... He is the new free-to-play unit that is available during the 10th anniversary, and he is insane. Let me tell you, as if we pull him up here, let's see, we have him somewhere. There it is, right? So he has that target mechanic, or not target, he has that tag mechanic, which allows him to switch with the Goten while he's in the Trunks form, right? As long as you get 1 key sphere, he gets an additional attack. With 2 key spheres, he's got an extra 150% defense. He's got guard with 3 key spheres, and then of course he is greatly raising attack and defense for the turn, along with having some damage reduction on that first turn, which really helps out for some of these fights. Once you tag with Goten, he becomes actually a little bit more defensive, right? He gets damage reduction 30%. He with 5 key spheres, he gets defense 150. With 3 key spheres, he gets an additional attack, and he becomes a bit of a nuker. So he actually becomes really good. I've used him in the youth mission for the Red Zone Vegeta event, and he's actually phenomenal for that event. And so him being able to slide into many different teams, right? He's on Hybrid Saiyans, he's on Gifted Warriors, he's on Earthbred Fighters, Time Limits, Fused Fighters. All of these are, you know, these all are like top teams right now. Even maybe not Hybrid Saiyans so much, but like, you know, Gifted Warriors, many characters who are also on Gifted Warriors also fall under the other leads for like Gogeta, for example, right? Them being on Fused Fighters, and Gifted Warriors puts them on the 220% lead for the AGL Gogeta. So that's really nice. That makes them quite good. And then of course our number 1 unit should come as no surprise. You saw him in the beginning, you see him on the thumbnail. This Demon King Piccolo is far and away one of the better free-to-play units, and probably the most useful. He slots into so many different teams, right? And he's incredibly powerful. I've seen this dude launch the 50 million super attacks, which is kind of crazy for a free-to-play unit. But he also slots into a lot of villain teams. Demonic Power is one of the best, one of the better teams. He's also on Successors, which puts him on Gogeta's team. He's also on Battle of Fate, which puts him on Goku and Frieza's team. He's also on Terrifying Conquerors, which puts him on Slug's team, right? Like, he works so well on a lot of these. And I think Resurrected Warrior, that's also Broly, isn't it? No, it's not in Broly. No. Oh, his is Planetary Destruction. I don't think he's on that team, though, which is unfortunate, but does still work on a lot of these other teams. So definitely one of the better free-to-play units. Now, you might be asking, well, Celtic, where is the most important free-to-play team? The Z Saiyan Saga team. These guys right here. Now, these guys are going under honorable mention, not because they are not good. In fact, in terms of free-to-play teams, they are the best free-to-play team. But the structure of this video was talking about units that you should take the time to grind out. that you should take the time to grind out. The thing about these guys, and why I didn't really include them in the top 10, is the game forces you to grind them out. As you if you are just starting the game, you already know this, that the game literally makes you grind these guys out as you begin the game, including the LR version Z Goku. So you are literally required to grind these out, rather than them being someone you should kind of prioritize doing, right? You kind of have no choice to do it. Now, that isn't to say they aren't good. In fact, just like the other free-to-play teams here on this list, they are incredibly useful. They can help slide into many, they basically are a team like the others that structure to teach you the game, teach you how units work in tandem with each other. In fact, I do think this team specifically does the best job of that compared to the other teams, because it's very explicit what each character's role is, what slot they need to be in, and how they're functioning, whether they are a dodge unit, whether they are a stacking unit, whether they are the supporting unit, whether they need to be in slot 1, 2, 3, whatever the case may be, right? This team actually does a very good job of teaching you that. But again, in terms of prioritizing of grinding out, the game literally makes you do so, and that's why I didn't include them in a list of units you should go after. So guys, that is it for the video. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. In the comments down below, let us know. All right, are there any free-to-play units you think I missed here that you think are very, very useful to the teams? I'm coming at this with the approach of a beginning player, and I feel like most of these units are probably going, like, if you are a beginning player who started during the 10th anniversary, I believe that these are the units that are going to get you by at least until the next major celebration, if you're needing teams outside of the anniversary teams that you pulled on. So guys, that's it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button, and if nothing else, thanks for watching, and aloha.